Welcome to Rad, a daily reader for Reddit. Like and subscribe for daily Reddit videos. Most soldiers do not fight for our rights but rather fight for money, a career, or by compulsion from a draft. The last war that was really about our rights was the Civil War. Vietnam, World War I, II, Korea, Iraq and Afghanistan were really about global power dynamics. The soldiers that fought in these wars were not defending our rights, because our rights were not really being threatened. Edit. This has been very interesting. A few points to address. A repeat theme is that WW II was about American rights. I politely disagree. The US entered only after being attacked and having its global position threatened. We had no choice. We had been declining for 5 years to enter the war. Now I guess it's very true that many people joined the military after Pearl Harbor out of a sense of duty, but I just have a hard time seeing how it was a war for our rights. It was 100% a just war, but much of the justification was learned of only after the fact. Most Americans didn't know of the atrocities happening at concentration camps. I never said there was anything wrong with joining for any reason other than patriotic duty. Join for whatever reason. I'm all for it. This last point is very important. Many have said that without the military we wouldn't have all these freedoms and rights, so they therefore are fighting for our freedoms and rights by simply existing. This is an interesting notion, because from my vantage point as an American, our military is the most powerful it has ever been. Yet I have seen a steady derogation of American rights and freedoms throughout my entire life. From within, being a superpower does not somehow make our freedoms more secure. It's actually the opposite. The lack of a credible threat means our government can actually take away our rights without being checked. Look at China and Russia, where it's happening today and has happened for a while. Look at the last 12 years in the US. Increased surveillance, Portland, police brutality, etc. Most don't even fight. Can confirm. I didn't fight. And what I did do was for school benefits and dependable income while I decided what I wanted to go to school for. Thank you for your service. I didn't fight either, but a lot of my unit did. I joined for dependable income and free schooling as well. Similar situation. I'd just gotten into my dream school and my parents didn't have the money to pay for it, having declared bankruptcy recently. They also hadn't filed their taxes in 2 years, so I couldn't use them for the FAFSA and couldn't work out how to get loans. I went out and joined the National Guard a couple of days later and got a juicy sign-on bonus to boot for picking Cub Scout. I never did the real deployment, since I also contracted with ROTC soon after coming back from training. My unit deployed and 7 of 84 were killed, all of them doing what I would have been doing had I gone. I still feel a weird kind of guilt about that. You're a good person for feeling guilt or to feel weird about how it turned out. Shows you understand their sacrifice and realize the luck of life. What those guys would be mad about if you didn't use your advantages and circumstances to get better. Be better, improve and grow. Make them proud. I would find it hard to argue that World War I and World War II aren't about rights. That said, I agree with the rest of your assessment. When you turn 18, and Dad says figure it out, you might be inclined to join the military because it's the most stable thing out there. Edit. Wow, this really got going. Quite an engaging conversation in this thread. I think we can agree that all of the countries involved in the world wars have blood on their hands for some atrocity against mankind. Russia, Soviet Union has the gulags among other things. Nazi Germany had the internment camps among other things. USA has the atomic bomb among other things, etc. The list goes on and on. I don't think any of us really know what's going on in the world. Cold wars, deception, cartels, globalists, multinational corporations. No one wants a real war. Technology is way too effective. Yeah, the situation with China scares the frick out of me because I feel like if any country feels like they're about to lose, they will use nukes. USSR lost the Cold War and didn't nuke anyone. Yeah, but they lost because the changes in leadership opened the country, and the people demanded it. I don't see that happening in China. Yeah, it doesn't look that way right this second. But reality is random AF. Sheeping could choke on some honey and die. Things change. Can confirm. I'm in the Marines, and I don't like American civilians. Not all, OBBI, but so many are entitled and freaking awful. More importantly, your rights were already fought for and solidified because we live in a democratic nation. No matter how bad politics seem to get. But the kids in the war-torn Middle East, the victims of genocide that go on every day, the helpless targets of ISIS. I freaking hate bullies. And there are so many bullies and tyrants out there. And therefore there is so much work to do. Edit. What I mean by bully is people who behead others for not having correct views or those try to foster genocide. Also, these are just my personal views supporting the assertion of the op. That the protection of American rights is usually the last thing an American military personnel think about in their line of service. Thanks for watching Rad. Like and subscribe for daily Reddit videos. If you like these videos, check out Rad too.